we're going between agent, edit, ask to kind of show how you can use these three different modes. Ask is really good at talking through changes that you want to do. Edit mode is for those specific changes that you want. And then agent mode is when you just want to vibe. So you just use agent mode to get it done for you. Agent mode is just so good, honestly.
Yes!
Oh
Success!
my goodness. Hi everyone, I'm Kadesha and I'm here with John. And today, what are we doing, John?
I think we're going to take a look at the whole bunch of different models that are available inside Copilot, and we're going to just try them out in the different modes. So there's ask mode, where we can just ask questions, get responses from Copilot. There's edit mode, where we can pull in a bunch of files and do mass edits, refactors, changes across them. And then there's agent mode, which is really great. And this is one of my favorite ways to do prompting for agent mode, right? Because what
Mm-hmm.
agent mode does, it takes really a fairly large prompt, usually, pretty descriptive about a number of different things you want to do. And it's going to run through it. It's going to pause every now and then, kind of ask if it's doing the right thing, tell us what it wants to do next, go ahead and do more. And then we get to kind of check in with it and see how the progress is going each time. But one of the keys to that is having a really good, solid prompt. So
Yes.
it's kind of my standard for how I tend to do it nowadays, where I actually just put the prompt into a README.
Mm-hmm.
And just so our audience knows, this is not my first cut at this, right? The other day, I was kind of working with Copilot and saying like, okay, this is what I want to do, but help me refine this README, basically making it a full PRD, a full product requirements doc, and putting all the things in there that we would need, and then testing it out a little bit to see what things were good and what things weren't. I imagine that's a lot of what a lot of the developers out there are hitting, right? It's just kind of tuning their prompts properly so it works
Yes.
for the situation they're in.
So it's like using Copilot to create that PRD to use Copilot to build the app based on the PRD. I love it.
So what we've got here then is this README now, which really contains all the stuff that I'm gonna feed into Copilot, and I guess you're gonna do it
Hmm.
with a model, and we'll see how it goes. It's a basic travel reservation app, so I want to view hotel rooms, I want to be able to make a reservation, etc. And intentionally, we're keeping the technology stack really simple here, right? Obviously,
Yeah,
with more complex. This isn't the way you do it in a real production app. I'm like loading Vue.js from a CDN. I don't have a build step for the front end, that kind of stuff.
it's okay.
It's okay. We want it to be fast so our viewers don't have to wait forever for a million, node modules to pull down and install and all of that. And we've got some specific instructions. This is something I really like to do, where I'm going to initially outline what the project structure is going to be. Now, some of the models that we're going to play with accept visual inputs too, so I could have
Hmm.
done this as a visual diagram, but for now, I'm just doing it in Markdown here so that any of the models can read it.
And I really love that, you've structured the README this way because sometimes when I ask agent mode with whichever model to spin up a React app or spin up a Vue app, it's not able to do it accurately. So I think having this project structure to tell it, hey, here's exactly how I want you to do this, I think that's going to make a difference. I'm curious to see how that works.
Plus, it's an opportunity for us as developers to kind of to hint at
Mm-hmm.
it. We like to have it structured because we all have different preferences where exactly we want our templates, where we want, our virtual end to exist. Every good README too always has setup instructions, and that's useful for us as humans because, of course, we're going to want to be able to go in and set up this project elsewhere. But it's also really useful to the model because it can look through this and it can get hints as to some of
Mm-hmm.
the stuff you want. Like, I'm saying explicitly here, like you're going to set up a Python virtual environment. Best practice, right? So hopefully we when run it through, it'll actually go and do that for us.
How is the README, right, and Copilot instructions, how are these two different? So
Right.
in the instructions, we have like operator interaction, security, environment variables, version control, code styling. So it's essentially like guiding the model on how you want it to build the app. Testing requirements, Python projects. So I can see, so like the README is the PRD essentially where you're like, hey, here's what we're building, here is a tech stack. And then in the instructions, you went ahead and gave it like specific guidelines on what you want the shape of the code to be.
Yeah, and the instructions are something I'll actually end up reusing between projects often.
Right.
So if people haven't used Copilot instructions yet, a thing to know about it is it basically it's kind of like the pre-prompt. Like before you begin any interaction session with Copilot, it's going to have that already there. It's going to know about
Mm-hmm.
the instructions file. So when you're working on one project, you put in there stuff that you want to apply kind of to every interaction you have. But you also want to narrow it down. So, that's why there's that like for Python projects only. If I
Mm-hmm.
happen to be doing a step that's not related to Python, it should basically just ignore that section because it's not going to be relevant. But then the other thing is I'll take this and I'll take the same Copilot instructions file, and it's just one of those things I seed into any new project. And I might adjust it, but there's certain things that I'm going to want always to be the same, right?
For sure.
So here's one that I think is kind of fun. I picked this up from someone actually at a conference a little while ago. And
Yes.
as Copilot's working, I want a history of what it's doing, right? Because eventually that chat session is going to go away. I'm going to restart VS Code, I'm going to clear it out and do something else. I want an actual record, not just of the actual commits, but of the actual changes that occurred locally before I even necessarily committed anything.
Love
So I
it.
just tell it, hey, make a changelog.md. And then each time you do something, add on to that change log. And that just gives me a history I can see.
Love it. I've never seen this before, and now that I'm looking at it, it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense to have it do its own versioning on the of the changes that it's doing. But should we like get into building something? Let's
We've talked enough. Let's make stuff happen. All right. What model do you want to play with today?
So I've been partial towards Claude 3.5. For some reason, I tend to get the best results from Claude 3.5, but I am open. But okay, so I can start with 3.5 and you can
Cool.
do
Yeah, I'll and actually before I even pick, why don't we point out too, right here I'm looking in ask mode. And,
uh-huh.
and there's three modes, right? There's ask, there's edit, and there's agent, right? So in
Mm-hmm.
ask mode, you have the largest breadth of selection for your models. So we
Yes.
can see this list is a lot bigger. When you move into agent mode, you get a
Get a
subset of them
smaller
because
list.
certain models
Yeah,
just don't work in agent mode, right? Okay, so this is what we have to work from for now, and then we'll go and play with the others in ask mode later, I guess.
sure
So
thing.
we're gonna do 3.5. You know what? Let's give people a preview, right? I've got access to Gemini 2.5 Pro, right?
Let's do it.
Uh, Only came out recently. Eventually, this will move out, hopefully to GA. But for
Yeah.
now, we've got internal access to it at GitHub, so why not? All right. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight the README to give it focus, and then I'm just going to say implement this.
Oh,
Type.
that's
Yeah. What do
very
you
straight.
think?
I'm gonna do the same thing. I've never been so like two words.
Let's see what happens. Ready? One,
Implement
two.
this.
Okay, go.
Boop.
Mm. All right.
So far already, you can see Claude is already like writing stuff. Like it's
Yeah, and it's
thinking.
it's telling me, of course, what to use for references, which is just the Copilot instructions for now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Claude, it looks like is going right to building,
Yes.
whereas 2.5 Pro is kind of giving me a description, a pretty heavy description of what its plan it's going to be.
Not gonna lie, I'm liking what Gemini 2.5 Pro did before it went into that terminal command, right?
Yeah, and I always like to point out with these two, you're about to hit continue right there.
Mm-hmm.
Copilot can access the terminal, but only when you give it permission to. So it's not going to like run off and do a whole bunch of stuff on your machine without you asking. It's going to
Yes,
pause there, say, okay, this is the command I want to execute. Do I have permission to go ahead? I think that's hugely important.
I think so too.
All right, so we're both seeing here we've got files that are appearing,
Yeah.
and we've got the option to keep or undo any of those individually, but also to keep or undo them in masse, right? So I'm liking what it's built so far, and I'm going to keep those, but uh-oh. No.
I know. So Claude is still going and Gemini stopped. Why
And then
why
I
does that
stopped. I mean,
happen?
it's in preview mode, so hey, the hosting, this is one of the reason we dog food things internally, right? Is because sometimes they break and we have to figure out why. I have seen this happen before, and I have a feeling it's because, we have certain internal quotas and that sort of thing that we can use, so I might have hit it. But I'm gonna
Yes.
actually just try telling it to continue and see if it's able to pick up from where it was. Maybe I'll get
Okay.
lucky. If not, I mean, and this is one of those things with agentic coding, right? It builds so much stuff. I really don't have
Yes.
to be afraid if it didn't work here and continue. I could just undo all of these, wipe it all
Mm-hmm.
out. I've still got my README there and just start over. And it's no
Yep.
sweat off my back.
Just choose a different agent and go again.
Right? Exactly.
So
All
Claude
right.
is
So change
still
plan.
working. Claude is
Yeah.
still
Okay.
going.
Plot's going nuts. Let's watch yours for a while because it looks like Gemini's spinning back up. And so it'll be sitting for a while.
So now Claude has started the Flask server. Like
Oh,
it,
you're
it
actually at the point of executing right now. That's great. All right, what do we got? Okay. Does that open? Want to try it? I see we've got a Python app,
oh,
presumably the Flask app.
one
We got
second.
the data JSON structure we asked it to make, a single main JS and a single index HTML. I'm going to guess for now it probably put the CSS embedded in the HTML, or it's just using the
Yeah.
base Tailwind styling. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, let's try it out. Ugh, it keeps opening in the wrong browser window. So I'm just gonna copy paste here.
All right. Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, I need to zoom in here to see.
Unexpected token free.
CDN tailwind.css should not be used in. Oh, okay.
So I'm not too worried
Okay.
about that. I actually saw that during testing, and it's basically just because we're doing the janky
Unexpected
way of
token
like
here.
loading Tailwind,
So it's
and
actually this one.
it's actually that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Well, I mean, this gives us a chance to show off one of our favorite things about Copilot, right? Which is when you hit a bug like this, you can just ask it what's going on and have it try to
Yep.
figure out a solution.
Exactly what I was gonna do. So I got
Awesome.
this error and then you just paste it. Something else I like to do is I like to just like actually take a screenshot and just
Mm.
paste it
Oh, nice. Yes.
and then just pop it in. And yeah, Claude does take that visual input. So like if
Nice.
you're using like I think O4 Mini does not take visual input and you'll see it by like that it crosses it out there to indicate like, nah girl, I cannot see that.
Oh, that is so cool. I hadn't noticed that little UI change. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably point out to people too, I bet a lot of folks are used to dragging and dropping from their file tree in VS Code into the chat. But the files you drop in, as you just demonstrated, don't actually have to be in your project. Like you can pull a file from anywhere on your computer, drag drop it onto the chat window,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to make it available to the interaction. All right, so you've been doing all this. Gemini has finally gotten to the point where I can run now. All right, so it's setting up my virtual environment. Um,
Yay.
it's built a whole bunch of files. All
That's a good
right,
call out because I don't believe Claude set up a virtual environment.
you just didn't
Unless it
notice it
did
after
and I was just vibing too hard.
diving too hard.
Yeah, it did. It's right here. Okay, so
Is
it's
that?
one of the
Oh yeah,
first
okay.
things that it
Yep.
did was to create
Sweet.
that. Okay.
All right, so mine
All
thinks
right.
it's done, but I didn't see it actually
Okay.
execute. What I'm gonna do though, since
Mm.
I know it's told me what I have to do, right? So I'm just gonna go into a new terminal window and I'm just gonna execute. So I'll activate my virtual environment and then I'll
Mm-hmm.
fire off Python. Come on, little terminal, why don't you love me?
S-
There we go.
So far, while you're doing that, I you can see why I tend to stick with Claude 3.5 Sonnet. Um, because for
Right?
me, I've been getting the best results using Claude 3.5.
And that is what I tend to use a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of it is like it's just the right balance of like
Yeah.
speed and precision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there we go. All right. Because yeah, like I don't know. We'll see if Gemini's result is a lot better. I don't know.
Ooh, does it
But
load on the first try? Yeah.
okay. Oh, I just didn't I didn't do my pip requirements install, that's all. Um Fortunately, I know what that is. So, okay, actually though, I'm gonna do it the right way, right? The right way, which is
Right way.
I like to trust my own brain. I know what it does, but at the same time, I like to see how the model
Same.
reacts. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna feed it back that error, and hopefully it tells me I need to do a pip3 install of the requirements file or something like that. Uh-huh. No, no, okay. Why
Hmm.
don't you know that? All right. Well,
Meanwhile, I'll check what we have here. Yeah, didn't resolve the error.
did not. Okay. So we might have a little bit of a more debugging to do. One, did it save the file after it changed it?
Yeah.
It did. Okay. So I've had that problem occasionally where there's a I guess the viewers should know there's the keep step, but sometimes you also have to manually save the file or do a save all, I've found,
Hmm.
just to actually get it down to disk.
Yeah, it's all saved.
All
Yeah, we
right.
kind of want to see what the model can do. So,
Okay. While you're doing that, I've got mine spun up, so let's take a look.
ooh, this is fun.
Yeah. Oh, although this gives me an opportunity to talk about this, by the way. Since it's
Yes.
here, it's by default. Anyway, so Cassidy recently wrote a great blog post called "Which AI Model Should I Use with GitHub Copilot?" Right? So you're watching us jam here, but if you want like her opinions about what models are good for what, she's got a nice little TLDR breakdown and then talking about each one, right?
Let's see. Let's see.
All right. Okay. So
Oh, so
I know what
close.
this is though. Okay, cool. And we'll see what it does when I give it the input. But just to talk through that for viewers, Jinja is a generally server-side templating language, and it uses a very similar syntax to what Vue.js does.
Hmm.
So when you just dump them both into a single file, it can be a little confusing for the interpreters as to which thing it's supposed to interpret in which context. So it'll probably have to do some escaping here. Yeah, to protect the server-side rendering engine from the components that are only supposed to be interpreted on the front end by Vue.
I see.
Okay, there we go. So yeah, it's wrapping, it's going to wrap some stuff in raw, it looks like. And I don't know if I'll need to reload or not. Let's see if that takes. Yes!
Oh
Success!
my goodness.
All right. And so
So I have the same error. I'm so impressed. Okay.
dude,
So Gemini was able to do it and it resolved whatever error you had on the first go. Meanwhile, my
yeah.
Claudito here, has not been able to identify the unexpected
Nothing.
token on line 131 in main.js, right?
Is this one of these places where we need, and that's the actual line, right?
Yeah, this is the line. So I'm kind of looking to see. I could also change the model.
Yeah, yeah. Opportunity for us to
Let's,
find out. Um,
which one should I use?
oh, wow. Well, I mean, 2.5's been performing well, but we've also kind of shown it off. 3.7?
I know
Or 3.7
I
thinking?
was gonna go 3-7 thinking.
And then we can
Okay.
ask, right?
We
Okay.
can say like, what is wrong with this? What is wrong with the highlighted line?
Yeah. And maybe we give it the error message we're seeing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's see. And so let's see. So it's referencing the instructions and then it references main.js. All right. So it's thinking, thinking takes time.
It does.
But you know what's crazy? Like sometimes I feel like the models are slow, but are they slow? I don't think so. I think it's just like we're impatient. We want it to be like a microwave.
We've gotten so used to having our answers right now. Wait a minute. If I could build this much this quickly 20 years ago, I would have been
Listen.
craziness. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Now, what I love about this is unlike the others, which are just like, okay, I'll rewrite it. And they kind of give a brief explanation,
Mm-hmm.
a deep explanation. I love
Mm-hmm.
this.
So now it's saying it's because there's a space, but I just added this space.
That's so
So
um
remove the problematic space, adds a formatting method for better maintainability. All right, I'm just gonna do this. How about that? If
oh
I do
cool.
apply an editor from here,
Yeah.
let's see if it will intelligently know where to apply these changes.
Interesting idea. Okay.
What would you have done?
Probably just because I've seen this a couple times, probably I would have asked it if room.price is actually a valid variable. Like it's possible that
Mm,
price isn't in the data model. And so sometimes I've seen syntax errors where it really should be telling you price doesn't exist, but instead it's just like the dot is invalid because it doesn't know how to descend.
I was
Uh,
gonna say I would expect a different error if it wasn't a valid
yeah,
variable.
yeah, yeah. So that, I mean, that's just conjecture. I don't know for sure. But I like this because it actually, we'll see whether it's able to call that format price method properly. So we'll
Hmm.
know whether it's actually getting through the template.
Let's see. This is my first time using Vue as well.
I have not touched Vue in a
S-
little while. We're
Seems
seeing
like
that,
it's
yeah, yeah.
persisting.
Can you click on into the main JS line 131?
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, it's the same
Yes,
line.
same one. It's not clearing the cache. That's our whole problem. And
Ah,
this is where the LLMs break down, right?
ah.
Because they don't have full awareness of what's going on. We still have to think. Um,
I
okay.
know.
We can just ask it. We can just say like it looks like the browser isn't clearing the cache. Yeah,
Oh, you
that's
want me to
what.
ask it?
Yeah, I just want to see because like okay,
Okay.
in case developers haven't used this before, if you're in dev mode in Chrome, if you
Yeah,
have the
here.
development console open, right, then when you control hold down that refresh button, what you just showed, Kadesha, is that refresh button on Chrome has extra options. It's got the extra empty
Mm-hmm.
cache and hard reload. But can we get the model to know that that's true and to
Let's
suggest anything?
see.
Let's find out.
So what do you suggest I put here?
Something like it looks like the page isn't changing even though we've saved it. The
Okay.
browser still has the old template or something like that.
Let's see.
I wonder if we should fold
Stretch
it where
your
we're using
thinking.
Chrome. Hmm. Think for me, Claude. You know what? I'm gonna
Think.
say the same thing in mine.
Okay. So
Yeah, even though
I
I'm
was
not
gonna
having a problem, I
say
just want to say it. Yeah. So let's see. Who should I do this with? Let's go into ask mode, and I'll pick. You know what? Let's go with Copilot base right now. In case we're playing around with some naming conventions and stuff. This is internal only. I think right now Copilot base goes to like
4.1, I think.
15.1.
4.1.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is really 401 responding, just so viewers know.
It's 4.1.
Um, the template. ah,
But, this is also proving that, when you take time to think through your process logically, write down all your steps of what you're going to do, you'll get better results, right? Because
right?
Gemini 2.5 went into thinking, planning, and then started coding. Claude 3.5 said, "Yes, okay, I'm gonna do it. Here you go."
Right? Yeah. It's interesting. And don't get me wrong, I've had great success with Claude 3.5.
Yes.
It is more limited. It doesn't go as deep. It doesn't give as much of a reasoning step ahead of time. And it sometimes feels like for very complex cases, I still need a bigger model.
Hmm.
All right. Okay, so you got some results. I've got some results. Good. Then refresh the browser to see the changes aren't showing up because you modified the source file. Okay, and then what's your step-by-step solution? Okay,
Confirm your
these are almost
changes.
identical. This is great. So you're looking
Uh-huh.
at Claude 3.7. I'm looking in GPT-4.1. They both said
Okay.
first make sure that the changes are actually there and copy your main JS file into the static directory, right?
Yep.
And then does
Gave
yours
us the
suggest,
commands to copy for
yeah,
Windows and Mac. Very,
very
very good.
nice. Okay.
Then it
Um,
says refresh your browser.
yeah, and in mine it gives me a hard refresh,
Oh,
command
nice.
bar. Okay, yours doesn't
And
go
then
into
it gave me some like, you can set up a file watcher. All right, so let's clear
okay,
cache and see. But that was good.
that is cool.
So 3.7 did not say clear cache.
Okay, but maybe that earlier step is the right one then. Maybe the copying it into the static, maybe that's not
Actually,
happening.
maybe that's not a bad suggestion. So,
Which I could see because, again, we're not really running this the right way. We're not running with a build step on the front end,
yeah.
which is why it's using the static directory, I think.
So copied. There we
Oh, I totally typoed that.
go.
Yeah.
There
All
we go.
right. Okay. So
So
unfortunately, we
it
don't know which step was the right
I
fix,
think
but
it
we know
was
it
the
got fixed somewhere in
copy.
there.
I think it was the copy because when I didn't copy and I was just like, okay, you didn't tell me to you didn't tell me to clear cache. Let me just clear the cache. Clearing the cache did not work. It's after I
Right.
copied and cleared the cache that it worked. So it actually solved the issue.
It did solve the issue. That's awesome. And um, it's advice on like how to clear the cache and
Yes.
how to fix it. Turns out to both have been right.
Turns out
Yeah.
to both have been right. So thank you.
I
So
asked the question, by the way, that you were asking about debugging, right? And it did
yeah,
give me
yeah.
some good answers. It said, okay, you can set Flask debug in your env file, which makes
Hmm.
sense, right? So I'm just asking it, can I do it without setting an env file? And those results suck. So if there is a dash debug on the command on the actual same line, it doesn't know. All right. Okay, so we both have a working app. Awesome. Um,
Awesome.
they actually look really, really similar,
They
right? Like it
actually
may be
do.
slightly different data assumptions, but whatever. And I assume a lot of that's just because it's like basic Tailwind styling, right?
Yeah. And look, I have some price here,
Oh yeah,
which
and I don't have
is
a price.
very interesting. So let's
Yeah.
see. Room. Let's see if we can book anything.
Yeah.
The date picker, does it work? Okay. I mean,
Yeah,
it
they're both
drops.
using like the same
Yeah,
standard.
it's the same style. Yeah.
All
Which
right.
is good because, oh, reservation created successfully.
Yay! All right. Yep. Did it for me. Weird that it's using
Wow.
different ID numbers for the reses, but yeah.
Oh, interesting. Also interesting that the ID is showing up on the UI.
Right, which like it shouldn't be there. Right? Okay, so let's do it. Let's fix it up. Because what we've shown here is actually a fairly unusual case. Like most developers, they're working on brownfield. They're working on stuff that's already there, not greenfield building an app from scratch. Like
True.
you only do that once in theory in the lifetime of an app. So I like this idea of now we should refine it, right? So I could say something like, hey, the IDs shouldn't be showing, and then I like that yours shows price. So I'll
Yeah.
ask it to do that too. Okay. You know what? Let's try out Copilot Base GPT-4.1. It did so well on the ask step. I'm gonna go into edit mode. I think is what I'm gonna do.
All right, I'll follow your lead.
And
Edit mode. Oh, if I go to
okay.
edit mode, let me hit done. Edit mode. Okay. What are we
All right.
doing? What are we doing?
So I'm gonna ask it to remove the IDs. I'm gonna ask it
Okay.
to add the price.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna grab basically just everything I think is gonna be relevant. Like I don't think the env matters for this, but probably the static and the templates are gonna be important. The changelog obviously won't. The data at Mike's, I don't know if it has price in there. Um, and I wonder if I include the README, I wonder if it'll adjust the README. So okay, I'm just gonna
Hmm.
pull all of those into my context. And I'm
So
gonna
I
say.
Before
Yeah.
you keep going, I want to call this out. So with edit mode, it's important to drag your files into the context window.
Edit mode is going to iterate through anything I've given it as context, but unlike agent mode, which like will automatically expand the context, right? I don't think edit mode auto expands context
I think
unless you
that's yeah, I think that's why I'm calling it out. So I just want,
Okay,
if you're when you're watching this, I want you to know that when you're using edit mode, you have to give it access to those files and folders that you want it to be able to edit. Otherwise, I don't think it finds it automatically, right?
I don't think so. I don't
Yeah,
think
I
so.
don't think so. And that's intentional.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the context matters. There we go. I should, yeah, and also at workspace doesn't work, right? We can show that in ask mode, but in ask mode, if you just want to include everything, you can say at workspace,
Mm-hmm.
and then basically give it access to all the files inside the VS Code workspace.
Mm-hmm.
But in edit mode, that's not available. It's explicit addition, as you said, of the
Yeah.
file. Okay. So I'm just going to tell it to do things. Let's improve this app. One, remove the reservation IDs
Mm-hmm.
from the front end. Just gonna say page. Um, I'm going to be explicit and say the visible IDs. Like I don't want to do anything like remove the IDs and have to infer what they are on the back end. I just
Right.
want right.
It's just from the
Um,
front end page.
yeah, exactly, right. Uh, to add price to the room lists available to the room types. Again, visible. Okay, let's see what it does. So we can actually start to see what it's doing here, right? Like it has a whole bunch of directories available as well as specific files. So you can see it's even searching for explicitly like where do reservations
Yes.
exist across those, and then including only those matching files in the context. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool. All right, so I'm really glad I dropped in my data JSON.
Mm-hmm.
We had told it in the README, for now, we're not using a database. We're just using a JSON file because it's simple and easy, right? And we gave it some mock data. And I in the README, maybe I didn't actually include price in there.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it like your model inferred it, but mine decided not to add that because I didn't see it initially in there. So now it's actually adding it to that JSON structure. Um,
Nice.
It's helpfully added a changelog entry as we asked it to, which
Nice.
is
Oh yeah,
cool.
the change log.
Yeah. It's putting the price into the HTML right there. Great. And it's updated the JavaScript. I don't actually see any changes in there. That's interesting because I think there would be, well, there isn't a full ORM here, but I wonder if we're going to run into a problem where is price not, we may have to come back and do something manually. I don't
I
know.
see.
Uh, I'll keep this and just reload there. Okay, no, it's good.
There
So
we
we've got
go.
a price visible for both of them, and the IDs are gone. Perfect. Exactly what I wanted.
And I actually like how your UI is styled better because I would much rather this cancel button to be on the side over here. I think that's pretty standard in industry. And I don't know, something about the spacing and I don't know, there's something that I'm vibing with more on your page than this
We could
one.
try this, right? We were talking about visual inputs, right? You can see my screen. Do you want to screen share this? And then, all
Oh,
right.
let's
So
see. Because another call out I had was this model did not uh I lost the screenshot. I'll just do it again. It did not include anything in the change log.
it's not doing it.
It did
Oh,
not do it,
that's weird.
right?
Now,
I wonder why.
should we try one other thing while you're working?
Yeah.
Just to make sure it's actually reading the Copilot instructions right.
Mm-hmm.
We could put something like talk like a pirate at the top. so that we can actually see in action that it's obeying the Copilot instructions? Auto
Did you see the
suggestions for the
suggestion?
Copilot instructions. Yes.
But with a focus on code quality and maintainability, why not?
Why not? Uh,
But yeah, let's see if it's actually doing that. And hopefully I understand um the language.
just a
So I'm
little
gonna
weird
go
sometimes. All right.
to I'm just gonna go to agent mode and I'm gonna screenshot your UI and we're going to pop it in here. And who do we go with? Do I go?
Oh, well, let's see. I know Gemini 2 Flash. We know Claude 3.5 Sonnet and GPT 4.0 will all
Mm-hmm.
take visual inputs.
So let's try Gemini.
Okay. And you know what? Even Gemini Flash, I think, will. Do we want to
I
play
don't
with that
have,
at all?
yeah,
Oh,
I
it's
don't
not
have,
in agent mode, of course. It's only.
yeah.
Yep. Sorry, my bad.
No, no, no. So I want to say like, what would I say? Like, I think I would just update UI to reflect the new design. I don't know. It's not that new, but that's all I would say. What would you say?
No, I think that's perfect. Yeah, go with
Boop.
it.
So let's see if it talks like a parrot to see if it's actually using
Right?
the reference it's saying here.
Yeah, I mean, right. So it says it's pulling it in.
Hmm. So how many changes do you have in your change log? I'm curious.
Great question. It it looks like it's been pretty good about it. Like I've got my initial commit. I've got
Wow.
yeah, fixing the ginger problem. I've got oh, whoops, sorry. I've got input validation, the template change. Yeah, no, it looks complete to me. I like what it did.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
again, I'm not sure why it's not updating the change log here, but it is talking like a pirate. Ahoy there, matey. I see ye want the UI to match the design you've shared. You've shared.
Okay, so it is doing it. Good. All right. Now this is interesting. You asked for a UI change, but it's
Hmm.
changing the data structure. So
Wow.
it's going above and beyond, but not necessarily in a good way. Unless, oh, you know
Yes.
what it did? It's pulling the data out of the design as well as the layout.
Right.
I wonder, so we could go with this and just roll with it, or we could cancel this run, undo everything that it's about to change, and then say just change the design but not the data. See if that works.
Ooh, be a little bit more. I mean, it's doing I mean, Gemini 2.5 uses a lot of tokens. Look at this.
Yeah. Which is something to be aware of, right? Like, and while I don't know if there's a specific chart for it, I know we have certain models marked as like premium or using more tokens, but I always feel like a good, easy proxy for it is just how much output does it give me and how slow is it? Kind of
Yes.
imply that something's taking more energy. It's
Yes.
tempting to just always go with the highest power model, but hey, it was just Earth Day recently, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I guess we should add in here one way that you can be a little more eco-conscious is go with the lighter weight models when you know that they're going to be sufficient. And the side benefit of that is that they're faster, right? And then only going forward to those heavier models like 2.5 Pro, for example, or 3.7 on Claude when you really need that horsepower.
Good call out. So now have update the UI to reflect the new design. Do not change the content, just the UI styling. Is that
Okay,
sufficient?
let's see.
Ahoy there, matey.
And I missed it while I was talking. You hit undo, right, on the
Yeah, yeah,
prior?
yeah. I even canceled it. I stopped and cancel
Oh,
and just
nice.
removed it from the context window.
When you hit cancel, does it auto undo?
No, it
No,
just
okay.
stops the generation. And then I went up and just
Hit the
click
undo.
on
Okay.
this button to remove the last request.
Nice. Okay. That's something I don't really mess around with much too, but good call out, right? That like when I'm doing things in a session,
Mm-hmm.
uh, keeping the full history. And it might, you know, as my session gets long enough, it might eventually start forgetting some of the older stuff. But you can go and you can manually remove elements
Mm-hmm.
from history by just Xing them out in the new code.
Exactly. And
That's
it's
really
also a really good way to remove any changes that you don't want. Because then when you remove that request, it removes all the changes that it just did too. So
nice.
yeah, it's pretty good. Okay. Log these changes. Oh,
I
it
finished
finally
swapping
did
an
it.
X.
It finally did it here.
All right. All right. So what do we got? Okay, we got
Good.
index file changed. We got the main.js changed, and they updated the change log. Yep. But it didn't touch the
There we
JSON.
go.
All right. Yes, I
Change
wonder what
log.
finally got it to notice the change log issue.
I have no idea.
Oh well. We swear it's not passively listening when you kvetch about things, unless you press that microphone
Ooh.
button.
This UI does not look like yours because this is not blue. This is not blue.
Oh, it's not paying
It
attention to.
did put the button here.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and it did update like here. Now it just says availability and price like yours.
Okay.
All right.
I want to do something. I'm gonna add a color palette. You just gave me such a good idea.
Ooh, I'm gonna
Okay,
follow
one
too.
second while I find one. Hello, Finder. Where are you?
I do love this tip though, John, of having it do its own change log. So you can kind of go through and see the history of the changes made that it made.
This has helped me out so much, right?
Yeah,
Because
I
just
love
you
that.
forget, you have a long editing session
Mm-hmm.
and it just flies out of your head. All right. I'm gonna stick in edit mode. I think the
All right.
context I used
Let me
last
go
time
in
is
edit
actually
mode.
pretty good. I'm gonna switch though to Gemini Flash, which is available in edit mode. And I'm gonna say
Okay,
apply
mouse over here.
this color palette. And then I'm gonna give it this is gonna be ugly as I'll get out because I haven't like explicitly picked this palette for this purpose. I just grabbed an image I had. But I've got this color palette file, which
Okay.
has like some more stuff in it.
Oh, nice. Okay. And
All
you're using
right. Okay,
2.0
it's gonna modify
Flash.
this. 2.0 Flash. And it seems like it's cranking along. Like it gave me responses pretty quick. And it's doing what I would expect it to do. Oh, I love this. So it's 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 not even just defaulting to hex colors. It's actually using these named colors
Nice.
as the style. So I wonder, is that part of Tailwind, or is it creating a separate CSS that has these named colors in it? I don't know yet.
I do believe it's a tailwind.
Tailwind thing. Okay. You
Yeah.
know, I'm so old. I still default to Bootstrap
No,
half the time.
listen.
Tailwind is
The
still
thing
on
is,
me.
we use the tech that we know and that we're used to. You know what I'm saying?
Right? Yeah.
It's like
All right, let's
I
see
did
what
a
it did.
stream. I did a stream earlier today and somebody was telling me to stop using wow.
It's ugly, but it's right.
To stop
Okay.
using npm and instead use pnpm. And I was like,
Not fun.
I'm just doing what I'm used to.
Right. Yeah, we get these patterns. And like that's a great call out too. Okay, so you're giving me all kinds of great ideas, right? Like, okay, now I'm because I've used pip forever, right? But I know there's
Ooh,
other options. So let's ask
I
something
use pip
like,
too.
right, yeah, it's just, I mean, it's forever, right? All right, I'm gonna go for a fast one, like 04 Mini. Is 04 Mini? No, there it is. Yes. Okay. And I'm gonna ask it, um, what should I use instead of pip? Because I know there's other module managers out there. I just haven't gotten used to them.
Guess what? We've been making all these changes. We should do a commit, you know.
Oh my God. No, right? Okay. Since we're both working out the same code base, let's make two different branches. What do you think?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Let's do
So
that.
I'm just gonna make a new branch and I'm gonna call this one Peck John. And what did I use? I used
Git
Gemini
checkout dash
2.5.
me, cur, and it's just like Claude 3.5 plus plus.
And this is a great
And
time to show off this button too, right?
exactly.
Right. Auto generate.
There we go. The one thing about this auto-generating commit situation though, they're so long sometimes. And for me, I'm like, I would never write so much in a commit message. But these very long commit messages have saved me so many times when trying to figure out issues.
Mine, for some reason, is not actually generating. I've never had this happen before.
Are things staged? Click on
Um,
that
I
plus,
mean, I
yeah.
could, yeah, just add. Oh man, the DS. Well, oh
S-
well.
Ugh, DS.
Pull that out. In fact,
Yeah.
let's fix that
Let's just add,
right
yeah, update to
now.
get ignore. Yeah.
Yep. Um, okay. Add Mac specific
Oh,
files
right.
to go. Yeah,
Vibe
because
coding.
I have coding for everything, even your Git configs. It's weird as I
One.
thought I had. No, there we go. Okay. It is in there. Why is it?
Oh, interesting.
That's so weird. All right, I'm not gonna bother debugging this right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Just gonna.
It's not worth it, honestly. But,
I mean, that said, the answer it gave is correct, of course.
hmm
But all right, there we go. I've got a commit message here. This is pretty nice, actually. It says, like, it is too long, yes, but it's telling me that it's implementing it. It says it added the backend API, it created the front end,
oh,
and what
wow.
is like this is a really nice detailed commit message.
It's very long, very detailed.
It is very long though, yes. Okay, and I'm just gonna sync that. Going
There we
back to what I was
go.
saying before, I didn't get a great answer, and I think it's because I wasn't detailed enough. I said, "What should I use instead of pip?" And then it just says, "Well, you can use," and this is true. Like if you don't have pip itself installed, but you do have the
hmm
Python module pip, you can
hmm
call Python 3 and just say execute this module pip. But that's not really what I meant. Um,
Mm.
can I use a different Python module manager other than pip? What are the pros and cons of each? Okay.
And I love how we're going between agent, edit, ask to kind of show how you can use these three different modes, right? So ask is really good at figuring out what can I use other than pip, figuring out, oh, how can I improve this particular function? Oh, do you have any ideas on that? You know what I mean? Just like kind of talking through changes that
Yeah.
you want to do. Edit mode is for those specific changes that you want. So you add the specific context, you ask it what you want, and then it goes ahead and do it. And then agent mode is when you just want to vibe, you just want things done. So you just use agent mode to get it done for you.
And we tend to just like flow. I mean, we've seen this today, right? We tend to just kind of flow between them for the
Yeah.
different kind of things I do at any given time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is great now. It's giving me some good, complete. Now that I've prompted it the right way and really told it what I was trying to do, pip
Mm-hmm.
and poetry. I have heard of poetry and I have not made use of that yet, sadly. I'm told it has some, told it's faster, yeah, which they call out here too. And it does those Pi project toml files, so a little
Mm.
specific and well defined for what you're going to want to have for packages.
Wow,
Con,
so many options.
it's too many these days, right?
Essentially, just stick with pip.
No, I know. I probably will. I say I'll change, but then I never
So
do.
you updated your UI, which gave me the idea to take a screenshot and ask Copilot, how can I update this UI? Like any suggestions?
Yeah. And you're using a screenshot, so
Mm-hmm.
that means that you don't even have to have it inspect the code itself, which should make the
Mm-hmm.
response a little bit more lightweight and easier for it to process, right?
Exactly. So I'm going to just go to ask mode. And O3 Mini doesn't have vision. Okay, 4.0 has vision.
Or, oh, yeah.
O1 preview. O1 preview doesn't. So these smaller ones don't have vision. So let's use 4.0
Okay.
or 4.5. Oh, 4.5 is a newer one. Okay, that doesn't have vision.
Oh, darn.
Let's just use 4.0. So many models.
So many. I can't keep them all in my head anymore.
Yes. How can I improve this UI? That's all I'm going to say. Again, these type of abstract questions, we can ask chat. I love it. So, accessibility enhancements, form validation feedback. Oh, that's true.
Oh,
Responsive
yeah.
design, load indicators. How do you know there's no load indicator?
I know, right? Like it's just kind of it's putting in some great generic suggestions, even though it doesn't actually have the information as to whether there's one there or not. It can't from the static screenshot.
Improve visual hierarchy. Okay. User feedback on actions, enhance room cards, security improvements. Is it going through the code? What did it
You
reference
know
here? Let's
what?
see.
I wonder if some of this is because of the Copilot instructions, because I actually said in the instructions, do a security pass on everything.
There
You
we
know,
go.
he's not. So even though it's just doing a visual thing here, it's still reminding us. So that's interesting. We might actually want to go. I mean, we could leave it, but this would imply to me too that I should improve my standard Copilot instructions file. And I should put a caveat in there, that like if when you're giving advice about the code itself, then talk about the security. If you're doing the design
Mm.
step or something, don't. So I could improve that file.
Mm. But also, so yeah, that would be a really good addition to the instructions. So it referenced the instructions, the screenshot, and I forgot that I had the index.html file open. So
Okay.
that's where it's getting the
That makes
validation feedback,
yeah.
accessibility, the loading indicators. So that's how it knows that it's not there.
Okay, so it's not just like randomly
Yeah, I
adding.
was like, wait, how do
Yeah,
you
okay.
know that? Because the
Smart.
file is open.
Right, right, which is a good thing, to think about. And you could remove it, yes, but in fact, we should call out this little UI thing, right? Because as you said, you were in edit mode, you dragged in you were in ask mode, but you dragged in certain files, but it also always pays attention to the file you currently have open and focused in your editor pane, unless you hit that little
This little eye
eye
icon
icon.
here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So you could have, if we'd noticed, quiesced it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But these are honestly very good suggestions.
Great suggestions. I love it. So one thing we haven't talked about, because you got me thinking about security, is we haven't talked about the all the other adjacent, like other than just producing code and talking about code and config.
Hmm.
What are the other things that we tend to use Copilot for, right? So security is one of them.
Security.
Um, I might say something in ask mode, like, at workspace. Again, I just want you to look at everything now, right? How can I make this app more secure?
And I'm gonna pop it here too. You're using
Okay.
O4 preview. I will
I
go
Well, yeah,
to
O4 Mini, even.
O4 mini.
Yeah.
I'll do O3 mini then.
Okay. Oh, this will be fun. All right. I should have waited to hit enter until you did. Then we could have timed it.
That's all right here. But in order to answer it's still talking like a pirate. I may need to stop and
What we're seeing right now, too, you're on O3 Mini, I'm on O4. Even though I hit enter first, you're getting responses way faster
ah,
than me.
that's true.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna remove that pilot.
Oh, I thought it had flavor.
I just, ahoy there,
Too
matey.
much. Now, mine's still stuck
uh,
on collecting workspace information, so I wonder if I've actually stalled out here. I'm just going to stop and restart
Interesting.
the request.
Oh, something I was just gonna say was so to kind of answer that question that we've been seeing floating around of like, what model do I use? How do I know what model to use? It's it's a matter of trying the model. If you get the output you like, you keep it. But if you don't, you remove the output from the context window or the generation from the context window, try a different
Yeah.
model. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you want to go back and forth, think in thinking mode, use a reasoning model. If you want to, not use up your tokens too much, Claude 3.5 is a really good one. I think even GPT 4.0 is a good one too, or like Copilot base or for one is a good option.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at our security
Yeah.
recommendations.
I mean, I'm liking them. They're solid, right? Like, okay, it's calling
Yeah.
out the in debug mode, of course. I don't have any HTTPS. I don't have any CSRF. I have no
Mm-hmm.
cores. Like all the things you'd expect for like, hey, I'm just blasting out this project as fast as I can.
Vibe
Um,
coding.
Vibe coding, man. I think that's one of those things that's like so important too, is that there's a big difference between making an app that works and making an app that's production ready and can really go out there, right? And security
Yes.
is probably the most important thing. So if nothing else, like all y'all vibe coders out there, you're building awesome stuff. Once you figured out how to not just make it work on localhost, your next step, make sure you ask Copilot, how can I make this more secure? What's wrong with it? And go through and just follow all those recommendations because you don't
Yes.
want to put something out there and then the next day have someone worm their way in and just
I
delete your data,
know.
lose all your keys.
And that's what's been happening. That's
Has
that's
been,
what's been
unfortunately.
happening and it's been
Yeah,
painful.
yeah,
But yeah, so these are actually very solid suggestions from both models.
yeah, yeah. I love it. I have to go figure out what Flask WTF is. I've never heard of
I
that
know.
concept.
I've never heard of that.
All right, cool. So what's another thing that we always want to do besides just security passes?
Security passes, accessibility pass.
Accessibility. I love it. All right, let's grab another. I'm gonna go this time with what haven't we played with here? I don't think I've done 4.5 actually.
Yeah, me
Um,
either. So let's try
okay.
it together.
Workspace.
So
How
workspace, how can I ensure that this app is uh, it's accessible?
right. Now we're both using the same model here, but we use slightly
Uh-huh.
different. We're getting some slightly different
Mm-hmm.
responses too.
So let's
Like
see.
the content is the same, but the format is very,
The
very different.
format is different, yeah. I love that they both give us like, okay, here's what you have and here's how you can improve it type thing.
Yeah, just this example changes kind of stuff. Yes. Oh, and then yours, this is great. Yours is going on to even like more detailed color contrast, keyboard
Keyboard
nav.
navigation,
Wonderful. Yes.
page title and headings. These are really, really good, solid suggestions.
Yeah. For anyone who hasn't come across the term accessibility before, what
Oh.
we mean here is things like making this available to people who are colorblind or have low vision capabilities or even blind. And there's other subtle things too, but this is all about making sure that your site is usable by
Mm-hmm.
someone regardless of their personal differences and experiences. It's too easy to assume that, hey, I experience the site a certain way, so everybody else does. But there's
Mm-hmm.
really simple things that can trip people up. Like if two colors, it's hard to see the difference if you have certain kinds of color blindness, then you're not going to know that those are two different buttons or they do two different things, right? So this is a really good pass to just make sure it's available for everyone. And also worth noting, if you're working for certain government agencies or certain government funded agencies, you're actually required in certain cases to
Yes.
make sure that your interfaces are accessible. So it's not just a good idea, it's a legal requirement.
We just did an accessibility pass. What about testing?
Testing. What good is an app without testing? I'm going to call out something specific here too in my Copilot instructions because I did think
Okay.
about this a little bit. Testing requirements, right, include unit tests for new functionality,
Ah.
minimum code coverage percentage, like how much of my code is actually touched by tests, integration tests for API endpoints. Obviously, we could expand this, but okay, I'm going to go with O4 minimum. All right.
Oh. Now I'm
Yeah. Can
jealous.
you
I'll
hit
do
that?
O3 mini.
Oh, you want to do 0304 again? Okay. All right. That's cool. That's cool.
And
And
we're in ask mode.
yeah, I'm just gonna out workspace it again, I think. I mean, it's a
Okay, so
lot of
at
context, but
workspace.
it's not such a big application yet.
I
If we
think
had like
there's,
I was gonna say like I'd hesitate to use at workspace in a larger project because it would just be too much. But here it's only gonna include like 20 files maybe or so. So
yeah.
okay, yeah.
So we also have a slash command slash tests, which is slash tests
Ooh,
at workspace slash tests as well.
we can just do that directly.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing here I'll say is the idea of generating tests itself, like we can add to this, right? So aside from just saying slash tests, I might say something like make tests and use, and here I'm going to call it a specific file, and I'm going to
Yes.
include that data file, data.json or
Ooh,
data validation. So that it won't just be like, okay, yeah, you got a 200 okay on a page, but it'll actually look at what it should be returning from our data source.
nice.
Okay.
That's a great tip.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh,
Ooh.
so the first thing
Ah.
O3 mini. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I need a Python interpreter. When did my interpreter? Why do I keep getting
Maybe when you
kicked
connect
out?
it. I mean, yeah, it should automatically pick your VN, you'd think, but oh well.
All
Oh,
right,
PyTest. It's giving me PyTest versus VTest. I'm gonna go with PyTest, I think.
I'll
Um,
have to redo this one
okay, because
second.
it's stalled out on that. Sure.
No, make tests. Can't type because I'm rushing.
Yeah.
I
Better
have
than me.
this
I can keep most of the time.
this thing I say like the faster you go, the slower you go, and it's consistently so true.
I wonder if we should have used agent mode for this.
Oh, because we are in
Now we're in it.
chat,
But yeah, but it's actually doing more than I would expect in ask mode.
right?
Oh, okay, here we go.
Oh,
Select true. Yes. That's
okay.
sweet. So this is one of these cool things, right? I we get used to certain IDEs, and Copilot will work in VS Code. It'll work in the JetBrains series of IDEs. We've got a chat in Eclipse now, which is really cool. And then we've got code completion, but not full chat, and a few other IDEs like
Mm-hmm.
Xcode, Vim. But I will say, like, even though I used to use IDEA, JetBrains stuff a lot, like that's kind of where I
Mm-hmm.
started. Nowadays, the integration between Copilot and VS Code, where it can do things like it can automatically fire off these separate panels, tell VS Code how to attach the test frameworks, that kind of stuff. To me, that's huge. That's part of what really keeps me using it in this environment.
Yeah, huge. So O4 Mini responded, and you have all these steps and stuff. O3 Mini just told me, here's a step-by-step overview of what tests will be created, and then that's it.
And it stopped. So it did change the import JSON, but then it didn't go beyond that, huh? Okay. I wonder if you keep that
Oh,
in.
actually,
Oh,
I didn't notice
okay.
this right here.
This
I
does
keep
not seem right.
forgetting I keep
Oh no,
forgetting
no, it
this
looks
new
like you're good. I'm sorry.
UI.
Yes.
Yeah, I
I
keep
see.
forgetting this new UI where like you can see the files that were changed right
Right?
in the context window. So that's a good call out because I was ready to say like it didn't do it.
Right, right.
But
Yeah.
it did actually. Oh, your test pass.
I mean, it did do it. It went through, it made my tests. Now that said, this is the entirety of the test, so I'm not super happy with that. And you know how you said, hey, we should commit, John? You're absolutely right,
Yes.
because I'm gonna undo all this and we're gonna try this
Always
in agent
commit
mode.
as you
Yeah,
go.
this time. And I'm just gonna say something like make unit tests, and now that I know I should, using PyTest, why not?
Okay. Surprisingly, all the tests passed.
So let's take a quick look through. Okay, it's embedded the data in the Python, which is maybe not the way I would do it, but I get it. I understand
Fine.
why. What do we actually have for tests here?
Yeah, so we have
Yeah, loading up the data.
uh-huh.
Keep hatchet. All right. Testing the route.
Testing the route, testing
Testing
get
it.
rooms,
I,
testing reservations.
beautiful. I would restructure it, but it's a good set of tests.
Success,
Mm-hmm.
checking.
Mm-hmm.
This is really good actually, and I am very impressed and surprised that it ran on the first try.
Yeah. Now,
Yay.
one thing that strikes me about this is that these are not idempotent, right? I mean, it's gonna, after it runs these tests, I don't think there's any kind of rollback or anything because it's just using JSON. So this is
hmm
gonna actually alter our data for the app. And I wonder if that's just like it couldn't
Oh,
figure out how to do it since we weren't using a real database with a rollback capability. Or did it put a mock in there and I didn't notice?
yeah, it didn't alter our JSON file at all.
Oh, when it ran it. Okay, so it must be doing something. Oh, here we go.
It's
Is
right
it
here.
gotta
So it loaded and
do
is passing
okay.
in the original data.
Load data override, save data.
So I think the data it's using is here. I
Right.
think that's why it created this dummy data sort of situation so that it wouldn't override the data.json.
Interesting. That's a funky workaround I would not have thought of. Create.
Creates temporary data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's an interesting pattern. Like it. Um, all right. There's one more thing I'd love to do before we run out of time today,
Okay.
which is I would love to talk about documentation.
Ah, good old docs.
Good old doc. So how do we think that it's good for us to go about doing it? I have an idea in my head, but how would you
hmm
approach
I think I would approach it by what I typically do is I'm just gonna close some stuff here. So typically I just have the README open and I would do at workspace in chat mode. I would use
it?
Claude 3.5 because Claude is a very good writer.
Okay.
And I
Yep.
would say update the README based on um, the current project structure or something like that.
Okay, cool. I'm going to try a different approach simultaneously, and I'm going to do this one using Gemini Flash. I'm going to do it with edit, and I'm going to bring
Oh,
in the source code, the templates, the
actually, yes, it's
README,
true.
and
I would
the
use
app.
edit or agent to do this because then it actually does it.
Uh, maybe this is a slightly different flow. I want to try this out. Okay, make documentation for this
Mm.
app. Give me an exec uh, summary,
Mm.
API docs, and a Flash does visual. Well, it does multimodal input. But if I ask for a workflow diagram, maybe it'll use Mermaid or something. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, let's just be explicit. And workflow diagrams using Mermaid.
Mermaid.js.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't say
Uh,
include a diagram, and I'm going to use agent mode and Claude 3.5. That's what I would use because
ooh,
sometimes when
okay.
I ask in ask mode, if I say update the README, it doesn't return the contents of the README in that code block format for me to just
Got it.
apply it. So that happens sometimes in ask mode. So actually using edit or agent is a better move.
So this will be really interesting, right? Because both of these modes have relative freedom in
Mm-hmm.
like being able to modify and create a large number of files.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if edit was the wrong approach because I see that it's actually rewriting my files instead of creating new ones. Oh, but you said explicitly update the README. Okay, so we might see very, very similar.
There you go.
I, th I think what I'm going to do, I like this. I like what it gave me for output. It's telling me the API. It's telling me the post, etc. Um, it's got the workflow diagrams. It did it in Mermaid. Great. Let me keep this for now just so I can preview it so we can actually see what it looks like. There we go. Okay, my renderer is up. All right, so it's got all the instructions I had in there. It has the existing setup instructions, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's kind of added sections at the end, the API endpoints, example responses, love it. Um, Post, get,
Nice.
delete, yeah. And the workflow sequence diagrams. If I weren't just using the native embedded
Mm-hmm.
um, Markdown renderer inside VS Code, there's other plugins you could use, or I could commit this into the repo and really see the mermaid diagrams. So actually, maybe I'll
Mm-hmm.
do that. Um,
Yeah, on this side, so it just updated it. Maybe because I said update. So there isn't a lot of changes. So it updated the stack. It gave it like, let me actually go to the, so we can see this better. Hold on. Here we go. So it updated the like the abouts, what the app is about, and actually it removed Tailwind CSS to Bootstrap, interestingly.
what?
Uh-huh.
Did it
It
actually
updated
make
it updated the features.
did it actually make that change, or is it just
It did. It said
misdocumenting it?
Bootstrap Bootstrap 5 instead of Tailwind.
Huh.
It added
That's funky.
testing. It
All
updated the
right.
project structure. And then it added a testing instruction, and then it added like the updated the JSON output, and that's it.
Okay.
So actually, I
Huh.
think your
All right.
prompt worked a lot better for updating documentation.
Or Gemini over Claude.
Ooh, okay, so I'm going to just undo and do it again with a
Oh,
different
okay.
model. Why not? Why
And while
not?
you're doing that, I'm going to try a slightly different approach here too, where I really want it to make a separate file for this time. I don't think I can do that in edit.
Oh.
Um,
Ooh, what if you
Maybe
tell it
that,
to
uh,
explicitly create a new file in edit mode?
yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'll do that. I'll say a new file docs.md.
Yeah,
Um, I've got all the same context I had before.
I'm just gonna copy your prompt and see if I can get maybe not all of it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, it did it.
Nice. And so here we have Gemini updating the README in the context window instead of in the README file. This is something I notice with Gemini a lot of times where it won't actually do the thing. It will say, okay, it will do it in the window and like I have to apply it. Isn't that
Hmm.
interesting? So like here is the entire updated README, which actually looks beautiful. So Gemini 2.5 Pro is a go for READMEs, but it didn't actually apply it. And because, like I said, with READMEs, it doesn't return all of it in that like a code block with in Markdown format. So all of this would have to be like
Mm-hmm.
copy pasted. But okay, so now I'm gonna say
That's a
okay,
I wonder if there's a
update
way
the
to use it
README
to
file
explicitly do
now.
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say okay, update the file now and see if that will work.
Sweet. Meanwhile, I actually went and pushed my not the last set of changes, but the one before, where it put the output into the README. I pushed that
Hmm.
up to GitHub just so that people can see what those mermaid items look like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so nice.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I
That's
love it.
nice. That's nice.
Yeah, so now I can see the actual interaction between all my components on every flow. See, my PM is going to love this. Do we have anything else we want to try or do we
I
think we're ready to wrap
think
up? I know I'm
so.
running a
We
little
did
short on time.
security, accessibility.
Yeah.
We did testing, we did documentation. I think that's good. And we played with so many models for this
Any takeaways?
project. I think a key takeaway I have is Claude 3.5 Sonnet is still very good for everyday coding tasks.
Yeah.
And even like O3 and O4 mini as well. Those also did really well and they're fast.
Yeah, especially for just like pure, like fairly contained code generation. Those performed beautifully. And then Claude 3.5 was really good in agent mode for that large building. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
both Claude 3.5 and Gemini 2.5 Pro did a great job with that agentic work of just like completely build something at Greenfield for us.
Agreed.
And I really love the way that Gemini 2.0 Flash did documentation. I think that was really super solid.
Yes, I actually agree. And that's why I ended up switching to Gemini 2 Pro because it's really good at technical documentation. Because I'm
Nice.
just scrolling through what it did right now and I'm just like, yeah, this looks really good.
I love it.
So, key takeaway in terms of what's the best model to use?
It depends. You know, those smaller, faster models, you know, some of the GPT minis, certainly you know, the Flash models, good for quick generation. The reasoning models, really good for talking through and also for building documentation because they're just verbose and they have all the right stuff. We saw benefits of using the visual inputs
Oh,
on
yeah.
Gemini and on GPT 4.0 for fixing up the UI the way we want. And I'm sure there's lots of other things we could do with them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So, all in all, try the models. You have access to them, not just in Copilot in VS Code, but also on GitHub models. You know, you can test out so many models on github.com using GitHub models. So, go forth and play. Have fun. Have fun. Don't be so serious. Have fun.
That's what it's all about. Aisha, it's been awesome working with you today. Thank you
You
so
too,
much.
John. This has been really, really good, really, really fun.
Wicked. All right. I'll see
All
you
right,
around.
bye.
Bye.